안녕하세요. Welcome to this online lesson from Korean Language House. Today, we'll learn how to conjugate the ㅎIrregular. There are two rules. Rule number 1. When ㅎ meets a vowel, it disappears. We're going to use a new grammar point called 니은, for example. We haven't covered it in our lessons yet, but it turns an adjective into a noun modifier. In other words, it's added to the stem of an adjective so that it can then be used to describe a noun. It's very simple to use. If the adjective ends with a vowel, you add 니은. If it ends with a consonant, then 은 is added instead. But what if the adjective ends with a ㅅ, like 파랗다, which means blue? Technically, we should be adding 은, since the word ends with a consonant. This gives us 파라은. This puts ㅅ directly before a vowel, 은, which causes it to disappear, leaving us with 파라. And now that the word has lost this ending consonant, we can no longer use 은. We must use 니은 instead. This gives us the final product, 파란, which can then be used to describe nouns like 파란 꽃, a blue flower, or 파란색, the color blue. Now, let's look at rule number 2. If the vowel following ㅅ happens to be a, or ya, then it works a bit differently. This applies to all conjugations that start with a, or, ya, like the informal polite present tense and past tense. So what happens when ㅅ meets a, or, ya? Normally, conjugations that begin with a or ya requires us to look at the vowel in the last syllable of the word stem to decide whether to add a, or ya, right? But if the word ends with ㅅ, the rule's a bit different. If the vowel is a or you have to replace the vowel and ㅅ with 에, like this. If the vowel is ya or ya, you have to replace the vowel and ㅅ with 예, like this. Note that both of these rules only concern vowels. This means when ㅅ meets consonants, nothing happens and the word is conjugated as normal. There are exceptions to these rules, of course. There are some words that end with ㅅ yet do not conform to either of these rules. Here are two of the most common exceptions. And that's all you need to know about the ㅅIrregular. As always, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more Korean learning content. 안녕히 계세요.